Well, how's everybody doing? Ole'Pops here. Just sitting here reading a book. I have been. Just taking a little break from it. Been doing a lot of reading lately. Ain't much else to do. Sitting here having me a bowl right now, smoking a little bit of Lane LL7. Smoking in my little Dunhill that I got in a antique store. Seems like the government's got us shut down these days. It's a mess out there. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what the world's coming to. Gracie come asking me the other day if she could borrow my computer. Wanting to know, since the she works at a liquor store, and the governor of Tennessee come up with the idea that he was going to shut the businesses down that weren't what they were calling essential businesses, going along with the social distancing, and wasn't going to let everybody get it within 6 feet of each other, and shutting down all the businesses. Well, they were considering liquor stores. They're considering them essential businesses. I guess the reason for it is that if they shut down liquor stores, there are 22 liquor stores in the city of Murfreesboro. And if each liquor store in Murfreesboro has 5 people in it that depend on alcohol, if they have 5 alcoholics that end up having to go to the hospital because of their dependency, that's 110 people, 110 beds that the hospital in Murfreesboro would end up filling, that they might need because of this, or it would take up time in the hospital. So they're considering, anyway, their reasoning. That has something to do with their reasoning. So they're leaving liquor stores open so that the addicts can get their alcohol. I'm not an addict, but I like my alcohol. So I'm kind of glad they left it open, but Gracie's in and out every day, going to work and back. And of course, they got the plastic screens, and they're making them wear rubber gloves, and they got the hand sanitizer. But she has to fill out paperwork every year to come up with the license to sell alcohol. And every other year, they make her take an aptitude test. It used to be just to prove that she had some sense. But every 2 or 3 years, they throw in some trick questions in there to make it seem like she's got a firm grasp of logic and stuff, like how to recognize a drunk when they come to the counter and stuff. But this year, I don't know if it was because of the coronavirus or or because it was like her anniversary or something, 5th anniversary or something. I don't know what it was, but they had some strange questions on this test this time, like word association tests. Maybe they thought she might be getting a little crazy from selling alcohol to drunks, but it was time for her to take her license, and she takes it online, and then she runs off a copy of it. Of course, we don't have a printer, but she prints it off on a little thumb drive and then takes it up to Kinko's and they print it for her. Bic lighter. I'm out of lighter fluid. Tobacco store where I get my lighter fluid, not essential. Walgreens and CVS, drugstores, they don't sell tobaccos anymore. Can't get lighter fluid there anymore. Anyway, she got to a part on these tests she was taking. She asked me, she said, "Dad, what's your phone number?" And I said, "Gracie, honey, you know my phone number. Why you ask me that?" She said, "No." She said, "I've got it stored in my contacts. All I have to do is hit a button. It's on speed dial too." And I said, "My word." And she said, "So what's your number?" And I told her what my number was. And I said, "What do you want it for?" And she said, they asked me, in case of emergency, who do I want contacted? And I told her, I said, "Well, what am I going to do?" I said, "Tell them police, put down police." I said, at my age, I'm too old to contact for an emergency. And she said, "Well, what if I get killed at work?" I told her, I said, "Well, put down coroner, you know." I told her, I said, "What am I going to do if you get killed?" I said, "The police or the coroner's got sense enough to call me." I said, "You know, if you get killed at work," I said, "it's too late to call me." I said, "Good Lord, hon." She got to the intelligence part of the question. Intelligence. They wanted to know what was different between an optimist and a pessimist. She looked over at me and she said, "Dad, what's the difference between an optimist and a pessimist?" I said, "You're taking this quiz to sell alcohol to someone who goes to the liquor store to buy alcohol. She thought for a second. She went, "Okay, Dad, in your opinion, what's the difference between an optimist and a pessimist?" And I said, "Okay, an optimist invented an airplane. A pessimist invented a parachute." And she said, "I got it. And a realist is a guy from Paducah, right?" I thought about it for a second. Okay, I'll go with it. Sure. Oh, okay, Gracie, what's your logic there? And she said, "Because if your parachute doesn't work, that's the sound it's going to make when you hit the ground." Paducah. That's mini-me. I have to say, for a split second, the pride in me just swelled. Word definition. She said, Dad, do you know what aperitif means? I said, is that part of your quiz? And she said, yes, the word definition part. I said, aperitif, like the French word. And she said, yeah. I said, it's French for dentures. And she said, really? And I said, yeah, aperitif, French for dentures. And she said, I said, Gracie, did you put that down there? She said, yeah. I said, okay. A few minutes later, she asked me what to put as far as a personal assessment. I asked her if it was an interview, and she said no, but it was kind of a psychological evaluation kind of thing. I told her to tell them that she was into meditation. Into long walks in the woods. She stopped me and she said, wait a minute, Dad, go back. Meditation. Why meditation? And I said, well, because it makes doing absolutely nothing seem much more respectable. Tell them you're tell them you're trying to teach yourself to speed read audiobooks. She said, speed read audiobooks? And I said, yeah, tell them you're into playing your Kindle on fast forward. See what they say about that. I bet that would make Evelyn Woods turn over in her grave. What do you think? Anyway, I got an idea I wanted to share with y'all. It's my turn to cook tonight. And I've been thinking about an idea for a new dish. I thought about taking mashed potatoes and cauliflower and white cheese and mixing some bacon bits in with it. Maybe some whole kernel corn. And mixing it together in a casserole dish and putting it in the oven and baking it. And coming up with this dish called CoVeg 19. What do y'all think? Too soon? No? Oh well. Anyway, Gracie hit send on her application, and then she fired on over to Facebook. She saw that her ex-boyfriend was dating one of her best friends. Well, it was, to be honest with you, it was Skeeter was dating one of her ex-best friends from school. I tell you what, all I could think of was, oh my God. Last I heard from the boy, he was quitting another job. We have a helium plant in the middle of town. Well, not in the middle of town, but 3 blocks off Main on Sevier Street. He had a job up there filling tanks. It wasn't a hard job. It was a helium plant. I asked his mama one night why he quit that job. She said, well, he just told us that he refused to be talked to in that tone. Well, they've canceled Major League Baseball. They've canceled the basketball season. They've canceled the NCAA season. They've canceled... have you seen wrestling? They're doing wrestling in an empty studio. The SmackDown and what is it? Raw, Monday Night Raw. They're doing it in an empty studio, and my brother watches AEW. I don't watch it, but he says they're doing it in an empty studio. Well, now they're talking about canceling SummerSlam. Schools and churches. Schools are out. They're talking about keeping them out for the rest of the year now. And churches. Did you ever think in the United States of America that it would be against the law to go to church? Hockey, the hockey season, just when the Nashville Predators were getting it going and cruising into the playoffs. I know it was a wild card spot, but they were making the playoffs. This was going to be the either 4th or 5th year in a row that they made the playoffs. And our Rutherford County men's basketball team, the Possums, they canceled the rest of their team. Or they canceled the rest of their season, but that's okay. Hell, they were getting killed on the road anyway. Of course, we've been trying to keep as much of this from the little ears as possible. You know, keep it from the kids. Just let them know that we've been trying to treat them like it was all a big vacation. You know, all the hotels and stuff and Disney Worlds and all, all the things that they like to do is closed. You know, the water parks and stuff. And, we've been trying to treat it like it was a vacation for them, but trying to keep it from the little ears, so to speak. But trying, they come around, we talk about this. Hush, 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 hush. Afraid they'll go and repeat something, but you can bet children they will not misquote you. They will repeat word for word what you didn't mean to say. They sure will. Well, so we've been trying to be quiet as a church house mouse around them. Quiet as a church house mouse. Quiet as a mouse. Who was it that invented the saying quiet as a mouse? Quiet as a mouse. Whoever it was that invented the saying quiet as a mouse never tried to go to sleep with one of them playing inside the wall behind their head, did they? Well, anyway, we're going to stay put. We might cook out on the back porch. We might watch us a few movies. Anyway, we're going to practice social distancing and try to stay away from everybody else, and I intend for y'all do too. That way y'all can stay safe. I'll see y'all on YouTube. I told everybody here a while back I wanted to have me a funny little YouTube channel, and they all laughed at me then. They ain't laughing now. Now, I'm gonna show y'all my book. You probably can't get this one, but I don't know if I've recommended a good book to you lately, but let me recommend one now. Let me recommend a book called A Man Called Ovi. I can't right off the bat pull up the name of the author. It's the author is from either Sweden. I believe he's from Sweden, but they made a movie about it. It's a foreign film. I think in the process of making a movie, another movie, an American version of it, starring Tom Hanks. But read the book if you get a chance. You can order it in paperback. It's called A Man Called Ovi, O-V-E. Get it, read it. My gosh, it will touch your heart. It'll break your heart. But I'm reading a book. It looks like it's just in wonderful shape. You can see a couple of little scratches, mars on it, and there's a few more on the back. There's scars, but see how brown the paper is? When you open it up, the paper is just as brown. So I'm not going to open it real wide, but I am going to open it wide enough right here where you can see that this book was copyright and printed by the, what is it? Looks like the Bob's Merrill Company in 1905. And this is an original printing, so this book is 115 years old. Mini-Me bought this for me. She lucked into it, found it on the shelf of a thrift store. I think she gave $9 for it. And it's a copy, you can't read it off the cover, but it's a copy of The House of a Thousand Candles by Meredith Nicholson. And it's, so far it's full of murder and intrigue and suspense and a little romance, and it's been very, very good. It's if you get a chance to read it, maybe pick up a used copy of it or a paperback copy of it somewhere and give it a read too, because it's also very good. I feel very, very fortunate to have this in my library. It's I found it on eBay, an original copy of this, and it was upwards of $300 for an original printing of this one. And like I said, she paid $9 for it. They obviously did not know what they had and did not know what she was able to steal from them. But I feel very fortunate to have it. I would like to say shout out to a few folks out there who have contacted me during a particular crisis that I've been through here. It wasn't really a crisis. It was a potential crisis that I went through. I had a COVID scare that panned out to be pretty much nothing. I had an exposure to COVID back middle of last month. It turned out that I was fine. I went to the doctor, and while I was at the doctor, I was exposed to the virus. I did my little incubation period and my little quarantine period, and nothing turned of it. Turns out I was fine. I'd like to say thanks to Curmudgeon and Onion for and McCool's Corvette Jim for checking up on me via text and phone calls as often as they did, and meant a lot. I know I don't get on as much as I should, and I got a lot on my plate. But anyway, I'm not gonna bend y'all's ear about it. There come a time I will, but not yet. Anyway, I'm Ole'Pops. Y'all have a good one and be safe. Practice social distancing and be good to each other. Much love. I'm Ole'Pops.